You were never meant to be a passive witness to reality. Beneath the layers of noise, roles, and routines, there is a current, subtle, intelligent, and deeply responsive, that listens to the vibration of your being. It is not a metaphor. It is the architecture of existence. And once you remember how to speak its language, the world no longer appears as a sequence of accidents or rigid structures. It becomes a mirror, a dialogue, a sacred dance. This journey is not about gaining power over others or chasing outcomes. It is about awakening to the power within, to see that what you call reality is but the outer echo of your innermost state. To master it is not to dominate, but to align, not to force, but to flow, not to acquire more, but to remember who you truly are. Let this be your threshold, a return to the forgotten temple of consciousness, where the divine law waits patiently to be rediscovered. From the moment you open your eyes, you are immersed in a world that appears solid, external, and separate from your thoughts. Yet behind this appearance lies a deeper truth. You are not moving through reality. Reality is moving through you. What you call the world is not a fixed backdrop. It is a responsive, intelligent field that shapes itself around the energy of your awareness. Modern mystics call it the quantum field, but it is not new. Ancient Hermeticists named it the All. Vedic sages referred to it as Brahman. Native shamans danced with its currents in sacred ceremony. Whatever its name, it is the same silent ocean, an unseen matrix where thought, emotion, and belief act as currents sculpting the tides of your experience. This field does not speak English. It does not care for effort, logic, or merit as we define them. It responds instead to coherence, the alignment between your inner state and your external environment. It mirrors not what you wish for, but what you are, and what you are is determined not by momentary declarations, but by the frequency you emit through your beliefs, breath, emotions, and being. Most people try to change their reality by rearranging the furniture of life, jobs, relationships, goals, without ever realizing that the architect is within. They pour effort into changing the projection, unaware that the film reel remains untouched. But the awakened ones, the masters of reality, understand the deeper law. As within, so without. They become aware of the field. They notice the direct correlation between a calm inner world and an ordered outer one, between inner trust and external support, between inner expansion and outward opportunity. This is not imagination. It is alignment. Just as a tuning fork can cause another to vibrate across a room, your consciousness shapes the very fabric of space around you. Your thoughts are not passive, they are sculptors. Your emotions are not background noise, they are codes broadcast into a living matrix. The field responds to the totality of your state, not just your surface-level affirmations. You can speak abundance, but if your body is tense and your breath shallow, your true signal is fear. You can chant, "I am love," but if your energy contracts when someone criticizes you, your frequency still echoes unworthiness. To begin mastering reality, you must first become intimate with your own field. Pause. Notice the rhythm of your breath. Sense the emotional weather of your body. Feel the quality of your thoughts, not their content, but their tone. Are you in a state of openness or defense, clarity or confusion, trust or resistance? This is not spiritual decoration. It is the raw material of manifestation. The quantum field does not judge. It reflects. It reads your signal like a blueprint and builds accordingly. To change your world, you must first become the architect of your inner world. This is violence against your emotions, but through the gentle power of observation. As the Upanishads whisper, you are what your deep driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will, so is your deed, so is your destiny. Observation is the first step, noticing your inner state with curiosity, not critique. In this noticing, you reclaim your power, not to force reality, but to flow with it. Like a river changing course through quiet shifts in terrain, your life begins to bend toward a new truth. This is the first initiation, not to chase, not to conquer, but to tune. Reality, like a musical instrument, awaits your resonance. Every thought you have, every word you speak, every emotion that rises and falls within you, none of it is wasted. It all echoes through the invisible medium that surrounds you. Most do not realize it, but they are in constant conversation with the universe. And this conversation doesn't use grammar or syntax. It uses vibration. You are an emitter, a transmitter. The energy you release does not disappear into the void. It shapes the very scaffolding of your experience. Ancient wisdom tells us, in the beginning was the Word, but that word was not sound alone. It was frequency. It was intention. It was a command cloaked in vibration. Energy, in its most refined form, is shaped by thought, but that thought must be coherent, focused, emotionally charged. Idle musings lack weight. It is not your passing ideas that shape your reality. It is the deep currents of belief and feeling beneath them. To speak is to cast. Every declaration is a spell, a seed planted in the unseen. The universe listens not to your surface voice, but to the resonance behind your words. This is why someone can shout affirmations with no change in their life, while another whispers a single intention and the world rearranges around them. One is noise, the other is signal. You've witnessed this. You felt the heaviness after a room filled with tension, the lightness after an uplifting conversation. You've seen how one person's calm can settle a storm, or another's anxiety can infect a room. This is the physics of energy, the unseen cause of seen effects. To master this language, you must become fluent in your own energy. Begin by observing your speech. Are your words laced with lack or trust? Are you begging the universe or conversing with it? Every I am is a creation. Every I can't is a contraction. Your tongue is the wand of a magician. Wield it not in habit, but with honor. Beyond words lies emotion, the amplifier of all vibration. Emotion gives your energy volume. It adds voltage to the current. This is why the thoughts you feel deeply manifest more quickly. Joy, love, trust. These elevate your frequency, drawing in coherence. Fear, resentment, guilt. These lower your field, creating resistance and delay. The energy of your life is not created by random acts. It is sculpted by the mood of your presence. You do not have to strive to manifest, only to harmonize. Reality reshapes itself, not when you shout louder, but when your inner state becomes still, clear, and aligned. Ancient initiates, from the Egyptian priests to the Vedic rishis, understood this. Their rituals were not mere ceremony, but energetic alignment practices. Temples were built in specific geometries to enhance subtle fields. Words were spoken with sacred precision. Even silence was considered an active vibration, sometimes louder than speech. You are surrounded by this same field today. The laws haven't changed. What has changed is our attention. We have grown deaf to the music, numb to the whispers, but the moment you return to intentional speech, grounded feeling, and conscious presence, the field responds, as it always has. The question is not whether you are creating, The question is, what are you creating unconsciously? And what might you create once you awaken to your power? Your next initiation lies here. To speak as a sculptor, to feel as a conductor, to think as a priest. Not of religion, but of resonance. To master the language of energy is to begin shaping the formless into form, not with strain, but with sovereignty. There comes a moment, often quiet, rarely expected, when the scaffolding of your carefully constructed life begins to collapse. The job disappears, the relationship dissolves, the plans fall apart in your hands. It feels like loss, like punishment, like the universe has turned away. But in truth, this is the moment many mystics revere most, the breaking. To the uninitiated, this season looks like failure. But to those on the path, it is sacred architecture. The breaking is not the end. It is the beginning of alignment. You are not being punished. You are being reconstructed. Pain is often the scalpel of transformation. It removes what no longer serves your expansion. You may have outgrown your environment, your beliefs, your attachments, but not known how to let them go. So life does it for you. It pries open the hand that would not release. It clears the soil where new roots must grow. This process is brutal only to the ego. To the soul, it is purification. Ancient teachings across traditions affirm this. The alchemists called it nigredo, the blackening phase, where matter is dissolved so it can be reformed in pure light. Christ withdrew to the desert. Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree. The prophets went into the wilderness. All were broken before they were reborn. The breaking strips away illusion. It removes the false identities you've worn. The achiever, the caretaker, the one who never fails. It exposes what is real by removing what is not. In the silence that follows, something holy begins to stir. The voice you silenced for years, the voice of your soul, starts to rise. You may feel alone, but you are not abandoned. You are being initiated. This is the paradox. The more your outer world seems to fall apart, the more your inner world is being reordered. The pain you feel is not random, it is targeted. The circumstances pressing you are not accidental, they are tailored. The universe does not waste energy. Every discomfort, every delay, every loss is a scalpel removing what cannot walk with you into your becoming. What feels like being buried is often being planted. To resist the breaking is to prolong it. To surrender is to accelerate rebirth. This does not mean passive suffering. It means conscious presence in the fire. It means saying, I do not yet understand this pain, but I will not run from it. I will meet it. I will learn what it came to teach. This posture transforms the fire from punishment to purification. The breaking reveals your foundation. It asks, what are you building your life upon? Is it the fleeting approval of others, or the eternal whisper within? Are you driven by performance or purpose? Are you holding your reality together with tension, or allowing it to form from truth? Let the old self burn. You are not being destroyed. You are being cleared, and what rises from the ashes will not be a version of you molded by culture, pressure, or fear, but a soul-rooted, truth-breathed expression of who you were always meant to become. This is the great work. This is the sacred breaking. Before the dawn of realization, there is often a long, silent night, a stretch of solitude not always chosen, but divinely orchestrated. Friends drift, conversations dim. The noise of the world, once comforting, begins to feel foreign. This is not abandonment, it is consecration. You are not being rejected. You are being refined. In nearly every ancient story of awakening, isolation precedes illumination. Moses climbs the mountain. Muhammad retreats to the cave. Jesus walks the desert. The oracle of Delphi waited in silence for the whisper of Apollo. Why? Because the divine does not shout over the noise. It speaks in stillness. Isolation is not emptiness. It is insulation from distraction, distortion, and misalignment. The universe draws you inward so you can hear the voice that was always speaking, but muffled by the static of the world. This is a cocoon, not a cage. In this sacred quiet, you begin to detox from the identities others projected onto you. You realize how much of your life has been shaped by unspoken agreements, roles you never consented to, responsibilities you inherited out of habit. As these dissolve, a strange discomfort arises, the loss of the familiar self. You may feel lonely, but this loneliness is a threshold, not a trap. It is the sacred space where you meet the parts of yourself that have long waited in the shadows. Your voice, your rhythm, your knowing. What was once buried beneath performance begins to surface. This silence is an initiation. It is here that your frequency recalibrates. Your energy field, once cluttered by the pull of others, begins to harmonize. You begin to notice the invisible transactions, the places you were leaking your presence, giving your power without reciprocity. Awareness blooms, and with it, sovereignty. Isolation clarifies. Relationships that once fed you may now feel hollow. The rooms you used to inhabit may now echo with irrelevance. This is not arrogance, it's alignment. You are no longer shrinking to fit. You are expanding into truth. The world may not understand this shedding. You may even question it yourself. But remember, the chrysalis looks like death to those who do not know its purpose. Let them wonder. Your becoming is not for public consumption. You are not disappearing. You are being refined. And when the time comes, the universe will call you forth again. But you will not emerge as the one who entered. You will emerge clear, anchored, luminous, not louder, but deeper, not busier, but aligned. The isolation was the forge, and what it forged was not your weakness, but your weapon. You've been told your thoughts are private, inconsequential, merely internal commentary. But this is the greatest illusion of modern living. Thought is not confined to the skull. It is the first cause, the seed of all visible form, the current behind every condition. Thought is force. In ancient initiatory science, from Hermeticism to the mystery schools of Kemet, this was foundational. All is mind. Reality is mental, projected from consciousness into substance. Your world is not built of bricks and facts alone. It is built of patterns and frequencies, laid first in thought, then echoed into form. What you dwell on, you become. What you envision, you sculpt. Not metaphorically, but energetically. Every mental image is a mold, and the universe, neutral, intelligent, endlessly responsive, pours into that mold the raw clay of circumstance. This law is unbreakable. It does not ask whether your thought is noble or fearful. It simply obeys. The problem is not that people don't visualize. It's that they do, unconsciously. They imagine worst-case scenarios. They rehearse failure. They picture conversations never spoken, wounds never healed. These are all visualizations, and the universe treats them no differently than sacred affirmations. You are always manifesting. The only question is what? To master this realm, you must become a conscious mental architect. Thought must no longer be a drifting river. It must become a carved channel. Begin with awareness. Notice the texture of your inner dialogue. Is it anxious? Is it repetitive? Does it affirm limitation or possibility? Most people don't think. They are being thought by habits, by culture, by old wounds. But you, on this path, are called to reclaim authorship. From awareness, move to direction. Consciously project the image of what you seek, not in desperate effort, but with calm precision. Your imagination is not escapism. It is blueprinting. Feel the scene. Charge it with emotion. Let it live in you, not as fantasy, but as vibratory reality, like a radio tower emitting a steady signal. Your aligned thought begins drawing in congruent conditions, and then release, not in apathy, but in trust. The gardener does not scream at the seed to grow. They water it, trust the soil, and honor the process. So too with thought. Hold it steady, infuse it with belief, then let the field organize around your signal. Remember, clarity, not force, is what shapes the field. When thought is charged with emotion, clarified by belief, and sustained with repetition, it becomes an irresistible magnet. Circumstances bend, timelines shift, people appear. It seems miraculous, but it is law. You are not here to hustle harder, but to imagine clearer, to think as a sovereign, to wield consciousness not as a coping mechanism, but as a creative instrument. Thought is not idle, it is sacred, and you are not merely a thinker. You are a creator, shaping the invisible into form with every silent mental command. This is the alchemy of mind. This is the return to power, and once this law is understood, your role in reality shifts forever, from the acted upon to the actor, from the reactor to the revealer. You have always been the artist. Now you hold the brush with intention. To master reality is not to escape it, nor to control it through force, but to realize that reality has always been your reflection, a faithful echo of your inner world. This is the sacred truth, whispered through time, veiled in allegory and ritual, hidden behind scripture, symbology, and silence. But now, the veil lifts. You are not just a soul seeking light. You are the light seeking remembrance. Through awareness of the field, the language of energy, the sacred silence of isolation, and the sovereign power of thought, you have begun to reclaim what has always been yours, authorship over your experience, not through ego, but through resonance, not through striving, but through stillness. You walk now as one who remembers. The world may remain chaotic, the noise may continue, but within you, there is a center that cannot be moved. You do not rise above reality. You root deeper into it, planting presence like a staff into the soil of existence. Your life becomes your ritual. Your breath becomes your mantra. Your choices become your consecration. The illuminated path is not about perfection. It is about participation, consciously engaging with the laws that shape the cosmos. You are not exempt from them. You are one with them, and every moment you choose alignment over fear, presence over projection, coherence over confusion, you bend reality toward beauty. Do not rush. Do not grasp. The way forward is the way inward. Become still. Observe. Speak with clarity. Think with sovereignty. Feel with honesty. And above all, trust the field. You are the temple. You are the priest. You are the flame. Walk now, not as one who seeks, but as one who remembers.